Hello, my name is Naomi Monroe, and I just want to clear it up that I am not a professional. I am not a scholar. I don't have my minister's license anymore because I didn't renew them. So I just want to clear that up. Everything I'm giving you is from my testimony, from the word, and it's just my experience and my knowledge from my experience. And I said that I wanted to share with you guys my testimony from the last video I made. I said that I was going to share my testimony. So here it is. So earlier today, I was talking to my dad, and I was just telling him where God is taking me and the message he gave me about singleness and solitude, and how he had to show me myself in the relationship I was in and the state of mind I was in that relationship. So, he had to show me that. And some of the things I had said was that when I met the last guy I was with, I was in a relationship for 3 years, and well, almost 3 years, like 26 months, something like that. I don't know, 27 months, whatever. Like close to 3 years, and I began to stop trusting God. Before him, I was celibate for 3 years, completely 3 years. It was probably going on 4 years. I was celibate. I was sold out. I was in the church. I was ministering. I was at church Friday, Saturday service, Sunday service, 3 services on Sunday, Wednesday night Bible study, teaching Thursday night women's ministry. Like, I was in the church. I was calling myself dedicated to the church. And I wrote a list of what I wanted in a husband, what I wanted. Let me tell you how crafty the devil is, how crafty Satan is. He will bring to you exactly what's on your list. He'll bring it to you, but not in the form of godliness. And you can be deceived because you're so desperate in praying for this type of person that he'll hit all the major marks and miss the spiritual. And you'll overlook that because you feel like, oh, this is what I prayed for. This is what I asked for. Because your prayer became desperate. So now you're almost asking God for anything. Lord, just send me anybody. Anybody will do. And so at this point, I even had people, prophesy to me and describe this man to me. And I'm like, oh my God, like, this is the guy, like, this is him. So I got into this blind relationship, and I call it blind because I was not going with my first instinct. And my first instinct was, he's going to hurt me. I cried on the phone to him. I was like, I don't trust you. I'm scared. I'm scared, and I don't want to even do this. I don't even want to be in a relationship right now. I'm sold out to God. And that was like my first clue, like, I'm crying, and that was only like the first week. So, excuse me, that was only the first week. I feel like sometimes on my nose. That was only that was only like the first week, like, of me talking to this guy, and he just overlooked it. All the stuff I said to him, I probably should have sounded like I was like crazy because I was venting, and all that was just my flesh fighting with my spirit. Now that I look back, my flesh was fighting with my spirit because this person came in, he dotted all those I's, crossed all those T's of what I prayed for a man to be physically and even some spiritual things. Oh, he don't have to be saved, Lord. Let him just have a heart to know you. He could have been a minister before. I wrote this stuff down. This man was literally a minister in his past. He was like, everything that was on my list, looks and all. He even, just stuff. So I'm just like, oh, this got to be the one. He's meeting all the criteria. So with that being said, I dove into that relationship, uncovered spiritually, just diving right in because I was at a desperate state, and I allowed the flesh to come in. So the relationship turned sexual very fast. I was celibate for 3 years. This relationship turned sexual very fast. I opened myself up to the flesh, to letting my flesh rule and not my spirit. And then I began to think, well, God will forgive me. I began to make excuses for him and for me. Well, he's going to go to church one day. I'm praying for him to come into church. I'm praying for this. And what's funny is I had just heard this older lady, this lady's like 80-some years old, or 70-something, close to 80. Her testimony about living with an unsaved man for years, and her husband, she's been with him since her teens or something, and he about almost 80 years old, on his close to his deathbed, you might as well say. And now he just now starting to get on his knees and pray when she's praying. And I remember saying in that meeting, God, I don't want that testimony. I don't want that story. And here I am creating this story with this relationship. I began to go through turmoil internally, mentally, physically, naturally. It seemed like everything I had and everything I did was a drought. I couldn't. It would never work. It would never come full circle. I was always in drought. I was always struggling. I was always. But that's because I stopped looking at God's way and started looking at my way. Because I prayed a desperate prayer, and I became desperate for the wrong thing. So, with all that being said, God had to show me myself. After that 3-year relationship, I began to spiral. I got jumped right into someone else's bed. Jumped into a 6, 7, 8 month relationship with someone I didn't even want, who didn't even want me, who made it clear they didn't want me. And I jumped right into that bed, saying, well, you know what? He gone. I'll let him go. Bye, peace, whatever. I'm going to get mine because he out there getting his. Spiraling. Right there. I started spiraling. After that 6, 8 month relationship, I hooked up with an old ex before that one. Spiraling. He had a relationship. Here I am, spiraling. Then I hooked up with some guy that I didn't even, I'm starting to hook up with people, you understand? Hook up with some guy I don't even like, somebody I met online. I was an online, dater, met online. I would begin to go out on dates, have these phone conversations, waste my time with people I didn't even want. People that didn't even align up to my destiny and my purpose. And I began to say, who is this girl? I was a virgin until I was 22. But when I lost my virginity based off of someone coming in and deceiving me. All this time in church, I was never taught that to really guard your heart and guard yourself. I was just in church, dedicated to God. And so when the thief came in, baby, he came in to steal, kill, and destroy. And that's what he came in to do. And I was unaware because I was so caught up in God and I'm holy and saved that I didn't know the signs of somebody lacking spiritual purpose. They're lacking that purpose. And I begin to, at this point now, when God showed me this, he began to release me after I'm spiraling, because I'm spiraling, right? I'm sleeping with here and there, hooking up, going out on dates, spending time with other people's men. I got something what I call a rotation, a couple of guys that I keep in rotation that I mess with, so I won't feel like my body count's so high. Just got these 3, it's in rotation, I'm good, That's what I went immediately into. And I want to be very transparent in this video because a lot of people are not transparent. Not in the church. We come back to God and we act like we did no sin, or our sin that we did we can't really talk about because we're ashamed. We got to shame the devil. It's time out. We have to shame the devil because the devil is a deceiver. And if you don't give specific example and instruction, we may miss it as a church. That young girl that's a virgin, that young girl that's keeping herself, that's celibate, she might miss that example because when somebody come into her life, when the enemy come into her life trying to kill, steal, and destroy, she won't recognize it because she never had an example before her, because we mask and we cover up and we shameful about what happened to us, our testimony. But I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed, and nobody could per se, I know this is not appropriate, but whore shame me, let's say, because you know how church folks is, they scared of words. Nobody can whore shame me because for a long time I kept myself. I would only be in one relationship at a time. I end up in like two or three relationships over my lifespan, and I'm 33 now. But I start to spiral, start to do things to try to fill a void. And my dad said one thing to me. This is what caught me, and I'm trying to wrap this up because I don't want to go over 13 or 14 minutes. I don't want to lose you as an audience. But my dad said one thing to me. I was coming over his house trying to move. He said one thing to me. He said, so you got a boyfriend? I was like, nope. And the one I'm with ain't my husband. I'm the woman at the well. I just made a little joke about it, right? And he was like, well, I just want to see you happy and married. At that moment, I broke down like a baby. I cried so hard. I cried, and I was like, I don't want to deal with this right. I mean, I'm talking about boohooing, snotting, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't want to deal with a relationship right now. I'm dealing with moving. I'm dealing with my finances not together. Relationship is not what I want to deal with at this moment, Daddy. Why are you talking to me about relationship? That's not what I want to talk about right now. So my dad looking at me shocked because I'm breaking down crying. I'm like, I don't want to. I'm having a moment. Because right before he said that, the night before, God had already told me, it's time to let these people go. You need to accept your call. You need to start walking in your purpose because you've been wasting time too long. It's time out. So immediately I said, okay, just like that. Just like that, I said, okay, God, I'm letting it go. I'm letting people go. I'm letting men go. I'm letting people that are not designed for my purpose go. I won't carry them. Excuse me, I need some water really quick. I won't carry them in my life. I'm letting them go. So for my dad to say that, it confirmed that I had a relationship issue. So after I left my father's house, I went home and I was still crying all the way home. Like I was crying like a baby. And I was so mad at myself that I'm crying about my daddy saying he want to see me happily married. And God began to deal with me. He said, I want you to be in singleness and solitude. And I'm like, singleness and solitude. What is solitude? So I began to look at the word solitude, and all I could find was definitions of like severe loneliness, a place of isolation, desolate. And then I came across this definition, a place of peace, quietness. And God said, that's the solitude I want you to be in. I want you to be in a place of peace. I want you to be in a place where you can reflect on yourself and you can see who you are and you can come out of what you're in. Because I want you to learn about love and relationship. I want you to most definitely learn about loving relationship with me. And I just thought, wow, singleness and solitude. That's where God wants me to be. Because a lot of time in the church as a single, we don't know how to live in solitude. We're like in a chaotic storm, this storm that's chaotic, and we don't know how to live in it because we're trying to manage being single when the church wants us to be married, but we don't know how to be married to Christ. The church is always talking about partnership relationship, that companionship relationship, but it rarely, very rarely deal with relationship with people in general. So God said I want to do a relationship across the board. I don't want to talk about companionship relationship only, but I want to do a relationship across the board. So in this whole little series that I'm doing, mini series, whatever you want to call it, it's singleness and solitude, and we're going to deal with relationship across the board. Once again, I'm not a professional. I don't claim to be a scholar. I don't claim to be none of that, but I just want you to get an insight on what God is showing me, my testimony, and what he's taking me through as I go into my purpose. Take this journey with me. Become single and have some solitude there, because that's where God want to take you. Again, this is Naomi Monroe, and catch up with me on my next video. I'll try to keep them posted regularly. So this is where God wants to take me, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I shed some light on someone's life and their testimony, because if I could do it, you can do it. I'm on this journey of celibacy until I meet my husband and marry. Not till I just meet him and be like, oh, this the one, and get him in bed, but till I meet him and I am married. So that's where I'm at right now. Do I want to be married right now? No, I'm not ready to be married right now. No, God is making me. He's creating me. I never had to, let me just say this before I turn this off. Never had a strong desire to be married right away. Maybe when I was younger, because all my siblings were married fast. But as I got into my 20s, I never had a desire to be married right away. My desire was to have financial stability, get this money, you know what I'm saying? I was constantly worried about the next business I'm trying to start up, the next, job I'm going to get, career, whatever. So it's been a long journey for me to get to this place to say, I want to be married. Because the last time I said I want to be married, the wrong person came into my life. So this time, it's a little different. I know you're like, what makes it different? But you got to follow me, and you're going to have to subscribe to my channel and leave comments. I probably can't answer everything. Like I said, I'm not a scholar. You could probably answer some of them yourself, but I will do the best I can to give you information and try to keep you up on scriptures and things like that. But that's my testimony. It's been real. This is Naomi Monroe, and I hope you have a blessed day or night.